Hey, this is Overpass Insights. My name is Eric, and I make apps. Now, today I'm coming to you from London Comicon, and I want to say, don't worry about your niche not being big enough. Okay, so today I'm coming to you from Comic-Con, the MCM Comicon in London, right? This place is packed. There's people everywhere. About a third of the people, or maybe not a third, at least 20% of people are in cosplay. And it's, they're dressed as different stuff, and it's really, really cool. And you know what? Everybody's dressed up as somebody who I don't know who it is. When I was 15 years old, actually, pretty much like several years when I was a teenager in San Diego, I would go to Comic-Con. And back then, Comic-Con wasn't as big as it is now, like where they announce movies and all this kind of stuff. Back then, Comic-Con was kind of like this niche thing, right? I remember it was in downtown. It wasn't in the big convention center in San Diego where it is now. It was like in downtown. I remember going there in 1987 at 15 years old, and there were rumors that there might be a live-action Batman movie one day, right? I got a poster for the movie The Transformers the movie, not the Michael Bay one, but the cartoon when they came out in the 80s, right? And like the cool thing about going to Comic-Con as a kid was like it was this thing that wasn't for everybody. Like I spent a lot of time as a teenager in comic book shops. My friends, we were into comic books, but it wasn't a mainstream thing. And the cool thing about it was that when you went to a big event like that, you'd be like, oh, that guy's dressed like this guy, that guy's dressed like that. And the more obscure it was, the more niche it was, the cooler it was, right? If somebody was dressed up like a Spider-Man or whatever, everybody knew who Spider-Man was. But nobody knew who, at the time, nobody who knew who Doctor Strange was unless they actually read comic books, right? And this is what I see today, right? I don't know who anybody's dressed up as. Everybody's from like manga or games or something like that, and they're just, but people who do recognize them stop by and say, hey, how's it going? And it's like old friends meeting, total strangers saying, yeah, can I take my picture with you? Yeah, can I take my picture with you? It's really, really cool, right? It's not my scene anymore. I'm here, because my kids wanted to come, but it's still a really cool thing to see. A lot of times we talk on this channel about apps. We talk about, who your audience is. And when I ask somebody, like when I do consulting, or even when we do live stream, somebody says, why is anybody downloading my app? The first question I ask is, well, who's your audience? And the answer is frequently everyone, right? And the thing is, like, the fear is always you don't want to do something that's niche because maybe there's not enough people into it, right? Everything I've seen today has been niche here today, right? The reason this stuff is special to everybody is because it wasn't meant for everybody. It was meant for them. It was their thing. It was meant by creators who created something that they were interested in and not they thought everybody else would be interested in. We know when something's derivative, right? We know when something's created and it's derivative, like they're trying to seek the mass market. Oh, there's a market for this. Let's copy what they did. And then you see things which are just like real creators, real creative types who create something that they're into and they find an audience. When you're creating your application, when you're creating your YouTube videos, when you're creating your B2B app, don't look for what everybody else is doing. This is the big thing I get here a lot on this channel. It's like, Eric, you should do this because everybody else is doing it. Or Eric, this seems to be popular, you should do this. And it's like, I'm going to do what I like to do. And if you guys like it, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad I found you. I'm glad you found me. I'm glad we found each other. But everybody else, screw them, right? Like, we're going to talk about apps. We're talking about business. We're talking about stuff we like to talk about here. And that's what you should do with your applications. That's what you should do with your videos. That's what you should do with your audience. Your audience is not the entire world. Your audience should be a niche. I don't know if you guys agree with me or disagree with me. I've been through this. I tried to do this video a few times here. It's a bit crowded here, and I'm trying to find a nice quiet spot. Anyway, let me know if you guys agree or disagree. I hope you guys are having a great day. Hope you have a great week. And that's it for me. I'll talk to you guys again.